Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show. The Rotoworld Draft Marathon rolls on. I am Patrick Daugherty, joined by Mr. Denny Carter, Mr. Kyle Dvorchak, and the most special of guests, Yahoo's Andy Behrens, who, you're guesting with us for about the third time in the past week. Are you getting paid for this yet?
No, I'm not getting my usual appearance fee, my usual podcast appearance fee. Apparently when I go on with corporate partners, I don't get that. It's an outrage, but that's an issue for the attorneys. That's not
you're being treated very unfairly, is what I
very unfairly. I said it before, I'll say it again. Nobody in the industry is treated as unfairly.
We're all very lawyered up. There's complex agreements. They did say I could get your Venmo and send you $15 for one beer at Wrigley Field. So, I will be Venmoing you $15 for appearing on our show. Seriously, thank you so much to Andy. Truly the best in the business. Andy, you're like one of the OGs, but you stay fresh and relevant. So just amazing.
I'm a little stale. I no longer make any effort to stay fresh.
Yeah.
That's so hard to stay fresh. I can't do it.
That's why we have Kyle. He's going to try to zoomer up what we're doing today, which is we are going to attempt to draft the nearly perfect team. It's the great mock draft in our minds, where we will be using Yahoo ADP, picking out of a theoretical 5-hole and going round by round, 8 or 10 rounds, give or take, and just constructing what we hope would be the perfect team, what we consider our perfect team. But there's 4 of us, trying to construct this perfect team. And once a pick is made, it can't be taken back. So like when Denny's on the clock in the second round, I can't be like, well, whatever, we're undoing that chase pick in the first round. So it's locked and loaded, and we're going to go person by person. Does anyone have any questions? Is anyone scared?
I'm a little scared.
a little scared.
Oh, I will say just real quick, big news, and actually I'm not even kidding. Yahoo did the right thing, Andy.
Oh God,
they did the right thing, and they made Taysom Hill tight end eligible.
No, stop.
I saw that. Actually, I was at CVS getting some stuff right before the show, and I saw the notification pop up, and I fell to my knees. And I said thank you.
I'm afraid to say what went on behind the scenes because I don't want people asking me in the future about position eligibility questions. So I will not tell the full story. I will say I kind of feel like he should have been a running back. Whatever. It was important that we land on a position other than quarterback. I kind of feel like it should have been running back. I don't really know what he is. He's his own unique thing.
I do think running back is closest, right? At this point, especially with what we saw in the preseason, not to start us off with Taysom Hill talk, but he's 15% tight end and 40% running back, I think, or fullback, but no one actually uses a fullback position. He's not a tight end, but we play by the rules given to us by our Yahoo overlords, and boy, did they give us a fun one.
Yeah, I also feel like in the odd scenario where something happens to David Carr or he just is too much David Carr and they have to move on. A scenario in which Taysom Hill is starting at quarterback and eligible at tight end is not great. But here we are.
No, I mean, he'll be split out wide with Spencer Rattler under center, playing Spencer Rattler almost Kendall Hintoning at quarterback. Even Taysom Hill would be better than Spencer Rattler at quarterback. But there's no offense to the great Andy Behrens, no offense to our corporate partners, Yahoo. With much offense to Denny Carter, nothing has ever been more wrong than Taysom Hill being a quarterback.
I love it.
It's fun. I think it's very fun. Is it right? No, obviously it's morally bankrupt, but I love it.
So nothing has ever been more wrong as Taysom as a quarterback, but nothing is going to be more right than Andy Behrens as he's picking out of the 5-hole to begin what we hope is our nearly perfect team. Andy, you're allowed. You're the guest. You're the man of honor. You're allowed to concoct any scenario you want. By the way, this is a PPR league. We'll say, but you can say, Christian McCaffrey fell to 5. I mean, we can do it. What has happened so far in this draft, Andy, and what are we planning to do from the 5 spot?
Well, let me tell you. First of all, in my perfect draft scenario, am I co-managing a team with Denny Carter? Perhaps not. But here we are, the 4 of us managing a team together. If I'm picking in the first round, I do feel like I have to make the McCaffrey pick, just like Denny did when he wanted any pick other than the first overall pick in the mock the other day, and he had to pick McCaffrey. I feel like that one's pretty locked in. I love it if I can get Tyreek Hill. I'm not going to assume that can happen here at 5. It doesn't usually happen at 5. I feel like I'm on a little bit of an island with Tyreek, and that I see him as a tier of his own wide receiver. That guy was going to have a 2,100 yard season last year before he got hurt, right?
That's not an exaggeration too. I think his pace in the first 8 games or 9 games was like 2099 or something. Like
his pace in the first 12 games, going into the Monday nighter where he got like injured on the hip drop tackle, it was almost 2,100 yards. So like he was going to cruise past 2,000. Like that was over. And then the fact that he even played through it was wild too. So I just think the pace he was on, the unique skills that he has, I want that guy if I can get him. And this would be another at picking at 5. I'm probably not going to get him.
Yeah, he's long gone. They smashed CMC at number 1. The guy at 2nd acted very confident in taking Tyreek Hill, by the way.
Yeah.
So they're both.
I admire it. I like it. I'll accept it.
Can I say something just quickly about Tyreek? I'm sorry to interject here, but just to give you an idea of what could have been. Okay, so he ends up with basically 1,800 yards on 119 catches in 2023. Tyreek Hill was 44th among receivers in pass routes last year. He was tied with Josh Reynolds. Rondell Moore and DJ Chark had more routes than Tyreek Hill. So you get this guy a full season, and he's going over 2,000. There's nobody stopping.
Well, then it sounds like what you're describing actually is not real football, scam football.
No,
like
it's not real football. They literally call the motion that gets him open cheat motion.
Not real football.
I mean, me and Denny are playing the game. We're taking truly just running back Taysom Hill as the tight end.
Denny wants cheat motion guys. He wants all Shanny guys. He wants Tyreek Hill.
We're playing the game, man.
He's a grifter. He's a grifter.
Yeah, he's a grifter. He's a con man. Denny's a con man.
Wait. Oh, you know what? Yes, we should all earn our points the hard way, which is George Pickens doing a toe tap miracle catch by the way, for 11 yards. That's what
now we're talking. Sorry, Andy. We have a horribly sidetracked here from but Yahoo ADP after CMC and Tyreek, it's CD, Brees, Bijan, Jamar, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's who's
not to be too chalky here, but I would actually go with Bijan Robinson. And I find it funny that like for 3 months this offseason, Bijan Robinson was going to be CMC, right? He had the Christian McCaffrey role. That's what we were all talking about. And then for the last 2 days, we've been talking about how he's going to split snaps with Tyler Algier because like one beat writer forecast it. Like, I don't think that should be, and to be fair to that guy, like that's not, he was just asked to speculate on something.
To be fair, that one guy, he's the only guy who covers the team. He's under a lot of pressure.
I swear to God, I had the joke lined up. Well, that's 100% of the team's beat writers projecting that.
He's under a lot of pressure to come up with something.
Fair. And I'll acknowledge that Algier could be a thing. I just think that Bijan and Brees Hall and Christian McCaffrey to me are a tier, and I want one of them. I think Bijan is one of the most uniquely talented players at the position and is a legit difference maker. And it like we were so mad at his season last year and the ups and downs of it and where he was used and where he wasn't used. And he still came in as like essentially a difference maker in fantasy. And he finished with like 1,400 scrimmage yards and he was great. And that was losing opportunities to Jonnu Smith at the goal line and Cordero Patterson at the goal line and other weirdos at the goal line. So like, I think the opportunity for him in an offense where he's actually used as a great player, off the charts.
Yeah, Andy, I think it's an important point to remember that like the thermonuclear bust Bijan season, like the worst case scenario Bijan Robinson season still resulted in 1,400 yards from scrimmage, and probably important to keep that in mind with Mr. Bijan Robinson. Yeah. And I'm happy with Bijan at number 5. Denny and Kyle, they're a little more in shambles. They were going to take best receiver available.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Take best receiver of the 2020s, to be clear. Also,
no. We'll litigate
Justin
that
Jefferson,
later.
by the way. To be
I take Justin Jefferson in every single draft. To be honest, I've taken him at number 1 like once or twice. It was kind of a stunt, actually. But Denny, we've got Bijan. We've got a running back. You're on the clock at number 20. That's where our second pick is out of the 5 hole. People around there in the Yahoo. Well, you just take us through it. Who's available? What are we thinking at number 20 after we're going anchor hero RB with Mr. Bijan Robinson at number 5?
Oh, it's not pretty.
No, it's bad. No.
Yeah, we have Marvin Harrison, Pacheco, Devontae Adams, Travis Etienne, Travis Kelce, Josh Allen, Mike Evans. Yikes! I don't even know. I mean, oh god, you're gonna make me do it.
I just want to say, if you look at like the ADP on Pacheco at other sites, if you look at what actually happens in drafts, like I want to apologize because we have Pacheco this high in terms of ADP because I've ranked him like recklessly.
Okay.
That is driving it. Like my rank on him.
The needle.
I have, well, it's one of those things where like, you know, the pre-ranks that we have in the draft tool are kind of fed by like what our ranks are, what the ranks of like 4 or 5 experts are. And I've got Pacheco as somebody that you can take in the first round. I've had him as my RB4 for months, and I just like, what an off-season winner, what a great offense. So the reason that he's even showing up here and not in the 3rd round is because I'm an idiot.
Okay, listen. Yes, no. We obviously, that goes without saying. I'm going to do this, but I need a pledge. I know Kyle's in, but Pat, I need you to pledge.
Go Buckeyes! Am I right? Go Buckeyes!
He's not falling.
No.
He's not falling. He's not falling. The Buckeyes.
No.
Falling.
Listen, I'm Pat. We need to be wide receiver heavy for a while after this. Okay.
Well, we'll see who's available when I'm on the clock in the 4th round. I'm gonna say.
That doesn't sound like a pledge to me, but I'm still gonna go with it. We're going Achane.
That's fine.
Thank God.
I mean, I hate it, but we're going Achane because I don't know. I'm looking at these guys, and I want someone. I want to swing for the fences here, and I think Achane and Bijan Robinson is there. I think that could be a pretty good duo. But we must not draft another running back for the rest of the draft.
Well, listen, too. Anytime you have 2 top 20 picks and you can use them both on committee running backs, you have to do it.
Wait. This is interesting. All off season, I'm the one who's out of touch with the public on Achane, and you're a man of the people. And now I say draft him, and you go, well, what about Mostert?
Well, I smash draft on Achane when I get Justin Jefferson at number 5. That's when I hit smash draft on Achane. But I mean, you went through the dilemma. When I entered the offseason, March, starting to do my initial rankings, just one of the loose thoughts I had before I ever sat down at my computer was Devin Achane is going to be like so overdrafted this year. Like I loved him last year. This guy is going to be, he might sneak into the 1st round. People are going to be falling over themselves for his big plays. And then that didn't happen. People were kind of more spooked than hyped. I mean, as spooked as you can be for someone going in the 2nd round. But I realized this very quickly, that with the way the running back board is right now, there's just so little upside beyond those big 3 or 4. I mean, there will be upside for some of these guys, but just like guaranteed upside, like true like ceiling players until you get to Devin Achane. And he is just stuck out in that island to me all year, and it's never really changed on the 2-3 turn. And Devin Achane, really, he just has all the hallmarks of a potentially league-winning pick where Denny Carter took him, even though we're screwed and now we have no receivers. He has all the hallmarks of a league-winning pick. Do you agree, Andy Behrens?
Well, first of all, can I just say that I love that not only are we going through a hypothetical exercise here, like this is not a real team that we're mock drafting, but even within this, you and Kyle have created an alternate universe to the alternate universe in which we have taken Justin Jefferson with our first pick. And you're just going to keep discussing what that team would look like. Guys, we didn't. I followed the rules. We took Bijan. There's not some Justin Jefferson team that we get to keep coming back.
People are watching this like, this is a weird multiverse thing. Marvel is really just paying fantasy guys to make stuff up.
Andy's right that Tuesday is gone with the wind, and Bijan Robinson is on the team. Devin Achane is on the team. Denny Carter has. I really hate to. I'm not trying to bring like real life into this. People use our podcast as an escape, but Denny Carter has been kidnapped. And Devin Achane was selected 20th overall pick.
I was just having just before I jumped onto this, we recorded the Yahoo podcast, and it was me and Dalton is just like a scorching hot take specialist, right? And he dropped one on Devin Achane that I don't even like disagree with. Like the 99th percentile outcome for Achane is just a total break the game season, I think, and not that. I don't think anybody here is going to suggest that, 8 yards per carry, that's a thing that he's going to do forever moving forward. But he doesn't, like, if we can just get him playing like 45% of the snaps. It doesn't have to, I don't need 20 touches a game. I don't need 25 touches a game. I don't need that imaginary scenario. I need him to be like the main guy in a running back rotation, and it's fine. If we can get him to 15 touches a game, it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. He has, the kind of track speed that the rest of the Dolphins all have. It's a really exciting offense. And again, the 3 games that we saw from him last year when he was fully operational, fully healthy, it was like 170 scrimmage yards per game and 7 touchdowns, like absolutely ridiculous.
Let's just get him to honestly that Greg Roman range of like 6 to 6.4 yards per carry, which is really rarefied air. Like even that might be an unlikely outcome. But like even that's like a really good outcome for Devin Achane. If he's in that Greg Roman Ravens, like Gus Edwards averages 6.2 yards per carry now because of the system. That would be such a good outcome for Devin Achane. Kyle thinks it's a horrible outcome for our team that we have 2 running backs.
I like Achane. It is, Pat, I agree that Achane really feels great when you've got a receiver locked in, but like sometimes draft fast. Sometimes you draft fast guy go Burr. Sometimes you draft fast guy go Burr. And we got to watch Denny do the experiment of like, geez, Devontae Adams career low year with Gardner Minshew, who's definitely getting benched at some point, or Devin Achane, fastest player in the league. All these guys, or Devin Achane, most explosive, fastest player, like Jamal Charles, I think is what you're looking for. That he's not pushing 400 touches like a guy like Derrick Henry could, but could he push 280, 300 with a lot of receptions and tons of explosive plays? Not only could he, but it feels really realistic that the guy who is incredible as a rookie will get more touches, but also plays in an offense that doesn't just promote efficiency, it gives you game-breaking efficiency. So as much as I don't build teams this way, I still think even in hindsight, like, I know we have Bijan Robinson. I still think I agree it was the right choice to take Achane. What's our next number-wise pick?
Well, here, I'll just say to Kyle, who got in that rarefied air of 6 yards per carry was Jamal Charles. That really is kind of what you're looking for with Devin Achane. We're next on the clock at number 29, Kyle, after 20. So 28 players are gone. Let's be real. All the good players are gone. So, we're at 29. It's looking like we need a receiver. Who do you think is theoretically on the board here? What kind of room has this been, Kyle? And who are we taking?
I would say Drake London, who has an ADP of 28.5, but I think a lot of times, especially like if you listen to this show, you probably have 1 or 2 other not really casual drafters, people who are hunting this wide receiver value. So I'm going to say he's off the board, even though he roughly fits within the ADP confines. I'm going to go Nico Collins, who for Yahoo ADP.
And season's over.
Pat, how many players do you think have had as good a season as Nico Collins' yards per route run in the past decade?
Listen, he was over 3. I know, blah, blah, blah. He was elite. You can't poke any holes in it. They paid him like number 1.
The Yipper goes Burr, buddy. That YPRR goes Burr.
It does. It was over 3. That's all that matters. Truly elite stuff. But it's still never been more over for our team.
No, come on.
We got the number 3 receiver on the Texans.
No. He's the number 1 easily.
We got the number 1, Kyle. Why me being somewhat facetious on Nico Collins? Why, when you're on the clock, do you hit draft on Nico Collins at 29?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that the fact they acquired Stephon Diggs, I projected him for a smaller target share than before that move. Like, you can't just say that doesn't impact him. But when you look at what he did last year, and some of it was scheme, I think he was schemed open well downfield, and that's going to help your efficiency. But on the other hand, he is going to continue to have elite efficiency with someone like Stephon Diggs drawing the attention of defenses. And last year, his efficiency wasn't just good. It wasn't just great. It was something you see once a year, once every 2 years. The answer to that question, how many players have gotten over 3 yards per route run in the past decade, I believe is 4. Actually, I believe it's 5. It's Ayuk, Hill, Julio Jones, Cooper Kupp, and Nico Collins. A few of those guys did it twice or 3 times. Julio did it.
That is a jaw-dropping stat. That's a jaw-dropping nugget.
It's a good group.
Yeah, they're just
good group to be in.
It's a good group. There aren't many players who can be as efficient as he was on number 1 receiver volume. Like, of course, if you drop the target total to 15, role players get there, but he did something that we just don't see players ever really do. And yeah, maybe it comes even back down a little bit because it's so hard to sustain. But the fact that especially we got the offense opening up in the second half of the season, a little bit more deep passing, a better pace, and more passing overall. They gave up a pretty big amount on the let's do, at first it was Damian Pierce, then it became Devin Singletary, 1st and 10 run, 2nd and 7 run. CJ Stroud, please bail us out. In the second half of the season, they sort of gave up on that approach. They finally came to grips with the fact that they were just should be and became a pass-first team. All this time, and then, of course, they trade for Stephon Diggs. What does that tell you about what they want to do? So, yeah, his target share is not going to be the highest in the league. we get him in the middle of the third round when we desperately need a receiver. And I think at this point, he is undoubtedly the most talented receiver on the board in a great passing attack. I don't think there's another choice given that I rolled out Drake London.
I love once again that we have layered hypothetical on top of hypothetical, and Kyle has said, "Oh, this made up league is way too sharp to have left Drake London for us, even though he is literally player number 29 in terms of ADP." That didn't happen here.
His ADP was 28.5. I felt like it was cheating to be like, what? Like, you know, I could stretch and be like, well, what about 27? What about 26? What if 25 fell to me? So I wanted to be conscious of that and not just give myself a little bit of ADP value every single pick, because you know at the end I'm like, I don't know, it's 7th round, guy fell 20 spots, that's a good pick.
Well, Andy, too, we're in a room, a lot of people read Rotoworld, listen to Yahoo, Matt Harmon. So the quarterbacks are high in the Yahoo ADP because a lot of the great populace of the United States uses the Yahoo draft platform. But this room, we're not taking. That's one reason why some of these people aren't falling, because the quarterbacks aren't coming off the board. I think there's 3 quarterbacks in the top 36, and 4 in the top 36 via the Yahoo ADP. Not there's anything wrong with that, all right?
I guess the only pushback on that would be, you know, we're in an era basically last 5 years, 6 years, starting with the Patrick Mahomes, the first 5,000 yard season from Patrick Mahomes, and then Lamar. Like we get 1 or 2, you know, golden ticket quarterback seasons every year now. So there is a real process of like guessing who that's going to be. I mean,
Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams.
Yeah, well, that's not an unfair thing to say. Like one of them could produce one of those seasons, and it's better when you can get it from somebody who doesn't have to get taken in the 3rd round through 5th round, right? If you can actually get it outside the top 10 rounds, but that doesn't happen every year. Josh Allen now apparently just bankably, reliably produces all-time top 20 quarterback seasons. So you know that's why he lands where he lands.
Andy, I had a very involuntary thought while you're talking about golden ticket quarterback seasons. Let's just go all in on hypotheticals. This will not happen. We all know this will not happen. But it would break fantasy football in 2 if Justin Herbert had a normal Justin Herbert season, Jim Harbaugh, and he just threw for 4,800 yards, 36 touchdowns. Like, would that be like the greatest value of all time? Like a guy who is not even getting drafted in most leagues.
Oh, it would be amazing. Yeah, wherever he's ranked at Yahoo is also probably my fault because I've got him outside the top 20. I'm veering so hard away from any element, like a passing game in which like Josh Palmer's fine, but Josh Palmer as potentially my number 1 receiver is not fine. A Jim Harbaugh, Greg Roman collaboration. Not fine.
Jim Harbaugh.
I think. It's either a few hours in the future or just happened. I'm not exactly sure which on this pod marathon or this mock draft marathon. I think I pitched you this scenario as well. It's like, I don't know. He's really, really good, and as much crap as we give Jim Harbaugh for the style of football he plays, he's also played to the teams he's had with.
He said plumbers, Alex Smith and JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy's career is already over, and he won a national title with him.
It's true. I mean, he hasn't had. I mean, Justin Herbert is just obviously the best quarterback he's had.
Yes,
right.
Not even close. Yeah. Colin Kaepernick was 2 or 3 years at that elite level too.
I guess the one thing he had Andrew Luck at Stanford, and they were more pass heavy in that year than some of his other seasons, but they were not, let Andrew Luck throw it 40 times a game. But generally, like he's had guys, like you said, who you don't want to throw 40 times a game. Justin Herbert is definitely among those guys in the NFL right now. So I'm still skeptical that they actually throw the football.
I mean, it's not just Harbaugh though, right? We have Greg Roman in town, and Greg Roman, we've seen plenty of him over the years, that's right? And he's always bottom 5 in pass attempts, and he's often bottom 1 in pass attempts. And it's just,
Greg Roman never had a good quarterback in Baltimore though.
As much as I love Lamar, I do think slightly stylistically different. Yeah. And Tyrod Taylor I love Tyrod Taylor, if I'm being honest, but he's not a guy you throw with a lot.
No.
Appreciate your honesty.
My guess for Herbert to be fantasy viable or even exciting for fantasy, and maybe the foot injury just completely obliterates the scenario, and I do get that, but is for him to see like a shocking number of design rushes. He's a great athlete, very underrated athlete. He was seen before the foot injury taking snaps and basically running sweeps in Chargers practice. Is that smart?
table after the injury. But
is that smart? I don't know. I don't think so. But it is what it is. This offense, this Greg Roman offense, has always used the quarterback as a rusher. So what if the upside for Herbert is actually in the rushing, not the passing?
Makes you think. Makes you think that it's time for a short break. We'll be right back after this. The reason Andy Behrens is here is because he's joining us for our Rotoworld Draft Day Marathon, and that includes the unveiling of Matthew Berry's Ride or Die on Fantasy Football Happy Hour. And that's right, 10 hours, which we're in the middle of right now, nonstop draft prep all day, Thursday, August 22nd. Hopefully you're listening right now. But if you're listening, later on, check out NBCsports.com/draft marathon for the full schedule. See maybe what you missed, which you can go back and listen to, or what might be coming up later today. It's all live. We haven't banked any pre-recorded content.
None.
It's a grueling day. It's been a tough day. I've had 9 different outfit changes.
We are in the content mines all day.
It's been a very grueling. All live. We're live now on the clock at number 44. We've got 2 running backs. We have Nico Collins. According to ADP, here are the people who could have maybe fallen to us. But I'm with Kyle. It's a sharp draft room. DK Metcalf has not fallen. DJ Moore has not fallen. Jalen Waddle almost fell, but then he just went off the clock. James Cook at 41. Stroud at 42. Pittman at 43. Anthony Richardson, Steph Diggs, Trey McBride, Mark Andrews, Kenneth. What do we do, guys? Do we reach for Devonta Smith? We can't. Yeah. First of all, we can't take another running back. Correct?
No, cannot.
Correct. You guys are firing me from the show if we select another running back. And do we all agree Jalen Waddle has not fallen? The group is just too sharp.
We all agree. In this multiverse, he didn't fall. So
but
we've been
Trey McBride, Denny's guy, Mark Andrews is there. Malik Neighbors is 62 ADP on Yahoo. Denny, is it time to reach for Malik Neighbors? I'm starting to panic. Will he fall to 53, you think, if his ADP is 62? And maybe we can get Malik Neighbors in the 5th round. Just throwing that out there.
I believe that the 5th round pick will belong to me, and we're not going to be taking Malik Neighbors in the 5th round. I'll just tell you that. So if you want him, if you want him on the perfect team that we all hate, you should take him now.
I don't want Amari Cooper. I don't want a tight end. No offense to Trey McBride, I'm not doing that. No offense to Mark Andrews, I'm not taking a 70-year-old tight end with 8 season-ending injuries. It comes down to Devontae Smith. Do I want the number 2 receiver on his own team, or do I? It's 5, 4. Neighbors is at the top of my queue, and oh my God, it auto drafted Neighbors. We have Malik Neighbors in the 4th round.
It's a great pick.
We have Malik Neighbors in the 4th round, guys. I put him in the queue, just in case that happened. So if I timed out, it would at least be into Malik Neighbors, and not like Alvin Kamara. But yeah, we got a balanced team now. Bajan, Devon Achane, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, 18 spots ahead of ADP, according to Yahoo.
We've said it's a sharp room, though. He wasn't going to make it back to us.
He wasn't. And we think we're really smart. We think Denny. So Denny, you've been our primary Malik Neighbors evangelist. Do you think there's no difference between good and bad targets? It doesn't matter that it's Daniel Jones delivering him the ball.
No, it doesn't.
Why were you just now in my head when I panicked on the clock before?
Because this guy's going to see somewhere around a 30% target share, and I think that's meaningful. Now, that's not super meaningful in an Arthur Smith offense where it's 30% target share, 7 targets in a game. No, I mean, I think that, he'll regularly be a double-digit target guy, and I think, if they use him the way that they have been using him in the preseason and that he was used at LSU, it'll be very catchable, short area, intermediate stuff, and that's bankable. I think that and he happens to be incredibly good after the catch. That's his whole selling point. I just see no reason to really fade him at that ADP, and I don't really care that it's Jones or Drew Lock throwing in the ball.
I kind of do, but well, Andy, so we finally reached. It took only 4 rounds. We reached. Now we have the leader of the team, the guy who's trying to restore order. Andy Behrens back on the clock at 53 overall in the 5th round. We have 2 running backs. We have 2 receivers. Who's on the board in your mind's eye, and who are we taking?
I'm still processing the Malik Neighbors pick. I fully accept. Great player. We're talking about an absolutely great player. He was a fantastic collegiate player. Daniel Jones has never given us an 800-yard receiver in his career. One problem, and then plan B to Daniel Jones obviously being Drew Lock, who's a party, who's super fun, right? But also I don't want feeding one of my starting receivers. So I'm still working through that.
Anti-Mizzou bias. That's fine. From the Illinois graduate.
Yeah. Oh, apologies. Yeah.
Oh, no,
Again,
Iowa. Excuse me. Sorry.
I root for him. I weirdly root for Drew Lock, and I can't wait until he is the Giants quarterback. I think that probably happens, but also I like you only kind of watch like with one eye closed, one eye open. It's terrifying. So I'm picking theoretically at like 53. Is that
53
right?
53 is where you were on the clock, young man.
I'm not quite ready for a quarterback here, and it doesn't sound like you guys are either. If I were,
is there, Joe Burrow is there.
Yeah. If I were, like, we've got Kyler Murray sitting there, and that is somebody who, he's already been the QB3. He's never had a receiving core like this. Like, I like everything about the setup. There's a plausible QB1 season out there for him, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take Dalton Kincaid, and I want to discuss this choice with you.
Can we?
Because
can we message the commissioner? They might roll back the picks.
Andy said that he had to get the food got delivered, and he had to get the door. And he
sorry.
If we didn't roll back the Malik Neighbors pick, which is an objectively terrible pick, we're not rolling back the Dalton Kincaid pick. An actual like fantasy relevant player in 2024. I will put forward to you guys that I actually think this Kittle, Pitts, Kincaid choice is maybe like a hinge point in drafts. I think there is a real path for one of those guys to finish as the overall tight end one. Obviously Kincaid is getting targets from Josh Allen. There's like 240 some vacated targets in the offense. Kind of an easy button player for them. I love everything we saw last year. He caught 80% of his chances. And that's the guy I want to go. Like, I can easily see the path to Dalton Kincaid leading the position in targets, leading the position in receptions. And maybe Dawson Knox is a little bit of a nuisance, but not enough for it to matter. I think he's in a great situation. So unfortunately, on the perfect team that we all agree to hate, we have just drafted Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, no, I hate that. Wait. So did I hear you right earlier, Andy, in saying that Malik Neighbors won't be fantasy relevant?
That might have been a little strong. I was just still processing my rage.
Okay. No, this is just like doing a show with two Rotopats on the show, because that is something 100% Pat would say if he just generally didn't like a pick. It's like, it's a fine pick. I wouldn't have made it. He won't be fantasy relevant. He won't be in the NFL here. So it's just doing it with the second Pat.
It's fine. Yeah. But so, Andy, it's actually important that our audience heard the pro Kincaid argument, because we have been very focused on the negative Kincaid argument, but the pro one is not hard to make. We've probably 4 or 5 different times we've had a topic on our show like, what's the latest of the Bills receiver core? Let's like break down as the Bills receiver core turns, and it's always kind of like, you know what, this might be a rotation. There's clearly not a true number one. And we almost never then discuss, like, maybe that means Dalton Kincaid will lead the Bills in targets, one of the best offenses in the NFL in targets. We kind of like, I think we all know that's possible in the back of our heads, but we never arrive at that talking point on our show when talking about the chaos in the Bills receiver core. And it's just a very important point. Even if you don't think it's the most likely outcome, it's an important point not to lose sight of.
I think number one, it's the most likely outcome. And I think maybe by a lot. I also think that it's just one of the most interesting receiving cores in the league, because they are all best used as slot receivers, right? Like, and I've talked about like Keon Coleman a lot with Harmon, and Matt Harmon will tell you that, like, in profiling for reception perception over the years, his exact collegiate profile is somebody who works best as a big slot, and they're clearly not going to use him that way. But right, like the top 4 receivers here all should be slot guys, and it just can't work out that way. So like, it's wild. I just think Kincaid never comes off the field. He's not burdened. I mean, he's a fake tight end, right? Like, he's the best kind of fake tight end for fantasy purposes. He's not burdened with, Taysom Hill is probably arguably more of a tight end than Dalton Kincaid, who is not burdened with any of their traditional tight end responsibilities. Not gonna pass block ever, not once. Don't worry about it. I'm pretty comfortable in saying that he's gonna challenge for the position lead in targets and catches.
Never blocking is reason enough to take him over George Kittle, who is just unfortunately a Hall of Fame level blocker.
Yeah.
And, he made that huge mistake.
Yeah, he's way too much of a football player.
Denny, what huge mistake are you planning to make in the 6th round at number 68 overall? We're back on the clock with Bijan Robinson, Devin Achane, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Dalton Kincaid. The past 2 picks have sown dissension on the squad. And, are you gonna return unity to the ship here in the 6th round?
No, probably not. You said 68?
68 is where we're on the clock.
So you're talking about Zay Flowers, Zamir White, the 49ers defense, which I'm thinking about fading.
No offense to our homeling drafters, I don't think we're taking the 49ers.
Let me just interject here and say that you're about to start seeing the auto draft effect in Yahoo ADP, right? Like one of the things there's always, there's like 2 auto drafters in every public league, sometimes 4, right? And one of the things that happens is the auto draft logic just fills out your starting roster before it takes anybody for your bench. So you're going to see like kickers and defenses start to bubble up. I apologize. That would never happen in any live draft. We'll assume that it will not.
No, and believe me, it does. We've all seen it. We have seen it.
I made this joke on Twitter a few times, but I think it was when we did the mock draft 2 years ago. We were doing the show. I'm doing a live show, so I'm not quite paying attention to all my picks. And I took the first defense in like the 8th round, and I think I almost audibly went, who just took a defense? And then I scroll up to see who the title of the team is. I was like, oh no, that's
Kyle's
not good.
Great team. Kyle's magnificent team has taken the San Francisco 49ers.
Is it too presumptuous? Can I get away with T. Higgins, who's going at 63?
I mean, listen, every time T. Higgins is on the clock, I look for reasons not to draft him.
I'm just saying, I mean,
it's reasonable. I don't maybe if all 11 of our league mates they're like me, every time T's on the clock, like I'm not ever gonna want to play this guy.
Okay.
I mean, we are in a range where ADP doesn't really hold, right?
Yeah, ADP does not hold. Some people are gonna fall, Denny.
People
have been doing stuff like Malik Neighbors went in the 4th round in this draft, and he's only 1 spot ahead of T. Higgins and ADP. Someone took Malik Neighbors in the 4th round in this draft, Denny. So wild stuff has been happening.
Well, that's because we have a hater on the team. You had to. So I'm actually thinking about Rashee Rice, who's going at 87.
87. What if Rashee falls, though, Denny? What if Rashee falls to
Denny, that's the pick.
Terry McLaurin at 76. But I'm not really interested in Washington pass catchers too much.
You have 20 seconds left, Denny.
All right, I'll go with Rashee Rice.
Wow. So we're reaching for our guys. We're officially reaching for our guys.
I had no choice.
And they announced a 3-game suspension.
No,
3 games. Oh my God. I thought you were going to say 3 games would be a windfall of money. The bank teller does not show up to my house for a month if it's 3 games.
So okay, I think you're actually thoughts, Andy.
I think you're actually seeing a reflection of maybe some early off-season activity, early draft activity, where there was greater concern that we would see the Rashee Rice suspension land, right? And I'm sure he's trending up in terms of ADP. I would say that looking at all the misdeeds of the Carter crime family over the years, perhaps their greatest heist was Rashee Rice in round 5 or round 6, whatever this is. That was a great pick.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I thought you were going to say perhaps their greatest crime was taking Rashee Rice.
Greatest crime was Malik Neighbors' greatest heist was.
Tell you what, the special counsel is going to nail Denny at some point.
Just please don't look at my laptop.
We're not getting political, but Trump had a special counsel after Denny. Biden had a special counsel after Denny. Whoever's president next is going to have a special counsel after Denny. We're going to nail him.
House oversight already digging in. Yeah,
we are going to nail Denny one of these days, and we're going to nail our next few picks. But first, we have to take a short break. We'll be right back after this. The Rotoworld Fantasy Football Draft Guide is now available exclusively through a new partnership with Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life. Get a Fantasy Life Plus subscription and receive the Rotoworld Draft Guide plus fantasy, DFS, and betting tools to help you dominate all season long. Use promo code ROTO10 for 10% off. Go to fantasylife.com/Rotoworld to learn more. So, a lot of us were freaking out internally when we started with 2 running backs, Bijan, Devin Achane, but I mean, the plane, the mechanics are out. The engine's been repaired. The plane is taking off again, I would say, with Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Rashee Rice, and Dalton Kincaid. Andy, you had a quick thought before we get to Kyle.
How is that parallel universe draft going in which we took Justin Jefferson first?
That's a pretty cool team.
We're looking at RB1, Tony Pollard, maybe Jalen Warren on the alternate universe team. I'm not maybe Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren's for sure the RB1 on the alternate universe team. But yeah, in the universe we live in, Kyle, we're at 77. You're on the clock. 3 receivers, a tight end, 2 running backs. Who's available? What are you thinking?
At the top of the queue around 77 would be Baltimore Ravens defense and Justin Tucker. Interesting. A little Ravens stack going on there, but I think we'll wait a little bit. I think there's some value at those positions later. Jake Ferguson, Terry McLaurin, Christian Kirk, and Keenan Allen. I think we still need another receiver. I'm kind of assuming this either 2 or 3 receiver plus a flex, and you said full PPR. So receivers probably going in our flex. If not, we still need a 3rd receiver to start. Doesn't really matter. I'm going receiver either way. If you can imagine such a thing, I'll go the big fella, Keenan Allen. Come on down, 230-pound Keenan Allen.
Oh wow.
No.
Well,
he's not. First off, not 230 pounds.
Denny, did you hear it? He's not actually even. He's not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, right. I forgot he's skinny now. Yeah,
he's back to skinny.
And he's young too. I mean, we should have. we should have just waited for a Dunze.
We can still take a Dunze. I think. I don't know what the numbers add up to.
It's over now.
We can't take a Dunze.
The whole thing's over.
Any violent objections to Keenan Allen? Oh, besides Denny. Who's declared the whole project over.
Listen, I have Keenan Allen on what I think is my most important team, redraft team, and I'm just devastated, just horrified by it. I lose sleep at night about it.
Is that the MFL 10 of death? You have Keenan Allen
and the Apex Raiders League.
Ooh, hopefully I'm
strange. What's going on there, Denny? Every time you get on the clock, you take the guy who I believe led the NFL in receptions per game last year.
I know, but as we talked about, me and Pat talked about, that's an indictment on the Chargers, the fact that Keenan Allen was productive.
Well, hold on.
Productive is a bit strong. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Third Rotopat has entered this call. I agree. An offense should not be run exclusively through Keenan Allen. But the fact that a team thought this player was good enough to run their entire offense through him is a ringing endorsement of his talent. Also, though, you don't want to have your offense run through one player if it's Keenan Allen. I think both things can be true. That's a strong indicator that he is a good guy who can earn a lot of targets, good at football. Also, it's part of the reason the Chargers were disappointing last year. Both are true, I think.
You're right, and that's a devastatingly good point.
Keenan,
I do think there's like a non-trivial chance that a Dunze, to Denny's point, is actually like. But throw out the Keenan versus a Dunze discussion. Like I think there's a chance that a Dunze is the Bears' #1 receiver this year. Not like a 50% chance, but I think it's out there, and I think it's, even though it's a very small sample, I think it's meaningful that every time there's an improv situation in the preseason, Caleb is looking for Rome.
He's going to be available with our next pick. Just do it.
Well, Keenan, every summer there's like an ultimate silly season storyline, like Jamar Chase has forgotten how to catch.
Wasn't that because they have stripes on the NFL balls and they don't in college? So it confused him.
Wow.
Jamar Chase has forgotten how to catch. I'm struggling to think of some of the other ones. But
Josh Jacobs Hall of Fame game.
Yeah. I mean, that's right.
That's
yes.
But it was actually like during the regular season, it was actually the meme of like, but I was told Jamar Chase couldn't catch. But it's true. That's what we were told.
So it's possible Keenan Allen Lorge ends up the most overthought preseason storyline of the year.
I blame myself.
So
Denny's giving a classic. We're all looking for the guy who did
I created that. I created it. I saw someone. Listen, I saw someone talk about it online, and I did some searching. I saw Albert Breer said he's super fat, and so I made a blurb, and it took off.
So Breer said this. Evan Silva, our friend Evan Silva, the godfather of this website, reached out to Breer, and he confirmed it. And he said that the Bears thought it was a good thing, that he needed to be rugged or something. And the thing is, I gotta be honest, he doesn't look 230 out there.
No.
Yeah. What do your eyes tell you? They're on Hard Knocks too, right? So there's a lot
he doesn't look close to 230. But Caleb Williams did call him fat.
Did he?
Yeah, apparently that happened. But if he was 230.
All right, Commissioner, roll back the pick. Didn't realize what Caleb Williams had to say.
So we got Keenan Allen on the squad at 77. Now we're on the clock in the 8th round at 92. We have time for 2 or 3 more picks. At 92, there's Hollywood Brown is free falling because of panic over his shoulder. Calvin Ridley's free falling, even though he's 89, because no one wants him after what he did to us last year. Deontay Johnson, the targets machine. Devin Singletary, the cheapest touches you'll ever see. Brian Robinson, Roma Dunze. I'm not doing another Bears one. Just got to be totally honest with you. Slightly beyond that, we have Jaden Daniels.
I was going to pitch.
Should we do? Is it time? Because we don't want to take a quarterback this early usually. But listen, we're playing with our friends. We're playing with our neighbors. We're playing with our dads from the school pickup line, and they're addicted to the quarterbacks. And not only that, some of them are taking 2 quarterbacks.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know why, Glenn. I told you took Josh Allen. You didn't need to take Dak Prescott in the 8th round, but he did that for some reason. And so now we're actually are starting to feel the burn. Kyle, are we adding Jaden Daniels to this football team right now? Is this happening?
Yeah, I think he's the end of the tier of guys who you can realistically say this guy could give me top 5 production. And I don't think it's because he's a top 5 talent as he enters the league. It's because he could run for 900 yards as a rookie. So once you get beyond him, you're looking at pocket passers who are quote good. Pat will say they've never been good. Efficiency wise, too, is very good. Is he actually good? Let's not
never good. Into that. Goff never good.
Goff, I was going to say that one.
Even
too.
Caleb Williams never good at USC. But
how many games did they win? They won like 7 games.
Yeah, exactly. They never even won.
You'd think if he was good, they'd win more games. So
winning doesn't matter. Winning.
No. Mahomes, I don't think won at Texas Tech or whatever. So it doesn't matter. Point being, though, the rushing production you get from Jaden is something that really can't be replaced by these pocket passers that go after him. This is the last call, especially with Glenn eyeing up QB3.
Yeah, he's dialed in on Justin Herbert. He does not know who Greg Roman is. He just knows that Justin Herbert has always been amazing for him. And just to be safe, he wants a 3rd quarterback. With Jaden Daniels, I think there's like a central paradox at the heart of 2024 fantasy football drafting is that why is Anthony Richardson going 4 to 6 rounds ahead of Jaden Daniels? Can anyone truly explain this? It makes no sense.
Shane Steichen.
I just feel like there's no way, no universe where it makes sense.
I'm kidding.
Anthony Richardson is going 4 to 6 rounds ahead of Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm told. Hey, Shane Steichen is calling plays, and I that's fine. I mean, I'm happy for him, but I think that Anthony Richardson is a bad pick because Jaden Daniels is available that much later.
Any
yeah. Some of this is driven by your guy Lawrence, right? Lawrence is all in on Anthony Richardson. Dalton Paldon is certainly all in.
There's a lot of people all in on Anthony Richardson. Yes, who is one of the most freakiest athletes we've ever seen. That can't be debated.
Yeah, you have to rely on that, and you have to rely obviously on the fantasy points per drop back last year in 4 games, of which he finished
maybe
one of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a thing. That's definitely a concern. And I'm kind of with you on the idea that I get the argument for Anthony Richardson. It's just that Kyler Murray also exists and Jaden Daniels also exists. And I don't think that we should lump Caleb Williams into the pure pocket passer guys, right?
He likes to call his own number at the goal line. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tua is going to run for 35 yards, and Caleb, he's not, a proactive runner necessarily, but he's an opportunistic one, and he's really good when he takes off. So 300 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground from Caleb Williams is definitely within the range.
I was going to say, he runs like Mahomes does in the playoffs, but at all times. Yes. Mahomes turns it to a different level where he's I got to hero ball it. And that's what Caleb does in we're playing Colorado and we're already 0-2.
We'll see what happens once he's playing instead of Colorado, he's playing Denver and he gets blown up and maybe not doing that again. So we'll see if it actually sticks, but absolutely the way he operated at USC, and we saw it in the preseason game. I mean, already has a rushing highlight. So we got time for 1 or 2 more picks. Andy Behrens is on the clock in the 9th round. You have selection 101. We're outside the top 100. We have Bajan, Devin Achane, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Rashee Rice, Dalton Kincaid, Keenan Allen. We even have a quarterback in Jaden Daniels. How again are we tying this room together, Andy?
Yeah, I see a lot that I don't want, right? And I see a lot in terms of ADP that is just, again, positions that we don't need to think about. We're still cycling through. There's Jake Elliott. There's, Brandon Aubrey. There's
fire him
the
up.
Chiefs
Fire him
defense.
up, Jake Elliott.
I'm not quite ready to go that route. And this is a place where so there's a choice for me, and I'm going to go down the ADP ranks a little bit. I'm looking at 114, 115, and 116. Xavier Worthy, Christian Watson, and Jordan Addison. I feel like there's a very right answer in there somewhere, and I'm going to go Christian Watson. I would totally accept the argument for Xavier Worthy. That could definitely work out, right? It's Earth's best quarterback and a legitimate downfield threat. Worthy could be great. I just think I've really talked myself into Christian Watson, and like 2 months ago, I would have said, man, if you just give me an off season from Christian Watson in which I don't have to read a bunch of player notes about, how we think he might be back within 4 to 6.
Andy, oh no, his Yahoo note is blue again.
Yeah, like I just like let's
Wednesday,
just have a quiet
why
one.
is it blue?
But all we've really had is, oh man, he got rocked one time and he got back up, and it seems like he's gonna be fine. And like it legitimately seems as if at least for a couple months he solved the hamstring plague, like whatever that is that has dogged him early in his career. If that guy stays healthy, he is fundamentally unlike everybody else in this Packers receiving core. And I know that the talking point we all have is that you just who knows which Packers receiver is going to pop in any given week, and it feels true. But I think if one of them just in terms of their like physical traits can separate from the rest of the group, it is going to be Christian Watson. There's not another guy in that room who looks anything like him. So that's the player I want. When he's fully healthy, that guy's scoring touchdowns.
Absolutely love it. Insane upside in the 9th round, and a somewhat different style receiver than Xavier Worthy. They can both make big plays down the field on the boundary, but different kind of players. But with Xavier Worthy, I feel like a good outcome is kind of like the kind of season Christian Watson's already had, even amidst the injuries. Yeah. And Denny and I have been all in. I think Kyle's been pro Christian Watson too.
Fine, especially this ADP. This was just a good find in terms of this pocket of receivers. You named all three, and I was like, honestly, choose who you want. This team needs another receiver, and that's tons of upside in this range. So once you name those 3 guys, like my pick was Worthy, but I was like, you named the right guys. Anything you want here is cool. That was just a good group of guys for this type of team we have.
Denny, super quickly, we have time for one. We only have 2 running backs. I do think we need a 3rd running back, despite the hero build. You have been extolling the virtues of boring running backs all off season. You're on the clock at 1:16. We're running out of time, though. We're getting kicked out of the bar for some reason. We can't finish the draft here. Which 3rd running back are you adding to our team in the 10th round?
116. You're talking about Jordan Addison, Zeke, Chase Brown, Gus Edwards, guys of that nature. I'd lean obviously Chase Brown here. I guess you guys aren't shocked by that.
I'm shocked because he's fun, and I didn't think you were into that kind of
thing. I mean, at this ADP, I think it's perfect.
You had already accepted Zeke Elliott,
perfectly good. I'm for some reason I've decided to dedicate my life to defending Zeke Elliott. In his old age, I always spoke out against him when he was good. Now that he's bad, so I think Chase Brown makes a ton of sense here, and hopefully, the hope is that he just gets all the passing down work. That would be cool. That would give him a really solid weekly floor.
That would be cool. It would be cool if we all like our team. Do we all like the team? I frankly do, despite the hodgepodge ad hoc nature of drafting with 3 other people. I just see lots of upside. I've also banked some floor with guys like Keenan Allen. It's going to be maybe a high variance squad, maybe a little boomer bust with Christian Watson, Dalton Kincaid, Malik Neighbors, Rashee Rice, even with a suspension, Devin Achane, who will for sure play 17 games, right? I'm very, very happy with the squad, and I commend all of you for drafting so well.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This is fun, except for, of course, Andy's pick. Which one did I not like?
All of them.
You hated Kincaid.
You didn't like any of them.
Which was made fun of you lashing out about.
Made fun of you for Neighbors too. That was
right. Yeah. Right. Well, it counteracts itself. Then we both dislike each other's picks. Yeah.
Have we taken a running back yet in the parallel universe Justin Jefferson draft?
No,
we got ninth round. We did ninth round. We
got Zeke because
we got Devin Singletary. We got Devin Singletary in the ninth.
That works.
That works.
I gotta say, this is the smoothest co-managed team I've ever seen. You think we hated each other, and this is the best co-managed team. If this is all you have to deal with your other managers, you've won. You found the right group.
Would not be possible without Andy Behrens or his platform Yahoo. Andy, real quick, what are you working on? Where can we find you? As we hit the draft sprint, 2 weeks to the regular season beginning from today.
Yeah, you can find us every day at Yahoo Fantasy. We're just shoveling out content. You guys know how it is. You can check out the Yahoo Fantasy Forecast. That is our podcast. That's a good time. Check out the Yahoo Fantasy newsletter as well.
Check it all out. Stay glued to the Rotoworld Draft Day Marathon. If you miss it live, check out the replays. We have a super flex mock, a best ball mock, the PPR mock, a half PPR mock. So much good stuff. So many good friends helping us out. Most of all, Andy. So for Andy Behrens, for Denny Carter, for Kyle Dvorak, I'm Patrick Daugherty. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week.